What the f is going on with Gen Zers and their tattoos?
I really thought the worst thing we would do was eat Tide Pods.
That's when TikTok should have been banned.
Bring your mind back to 2020. It's the beginning of the pandemic and everyone is hating on Gen Z's obsession with TikTok trends. But there's one trend that you may not have heard of, and that was the Gen Z tattoo. And there's a reason why you may have missed this trend, because the Gen Z tattoo backfired almost instantly. Quickly before we get into the video, I just wanted to thank today's sponsor, SkillShare. So if you didn't know, I am a tattoo apprentice, and every tattoo artist I talk to tells me that the best thing I can do is draw every single day, pretty much all the time. But sometimes I don't really know what to draw. And that's where SkillShare's incredible library of online classes comes in so handy for me. SkillShare has thousands of in-depth classes in fine art, animation, illustration, and more. Right now, I'm taking this class, which is called Illustrated Journaling, 14 days of prompts. So this gives you a guide of what to draw every day. And what's also great about joining a class on Skillshare is that it keeps you accountable for your drawing. So if you're interested in everything that Skillshare has to offer, the first 1,000 people to click my link in the description box down below will get 1 free month of Skillshare Premium. So thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Now back to the infamous Gen Z tattoo. So in September of 2020, one user proposed that all of Gen Z gets a matching tattoo. And this was going to be the Gen Z tattoo that united everybody. And like I said, at this time in 2020, Gen Z was definitely getting a lot of hate online just for being Gen Z. So you can see why they kind of wanted to come together and represent their generation in this way. And the original video has been removed from TikTok, and in fact, the whole account that made this has been removed from TikTok. But we have evidence of these videos from people reposting them. So the user who posted this was Smooth Avocado, who went by Jordy, and this is the original video. So the idea behind the tattoo is that it's a generational symbol of unity and rebellion. And this is pretty typical of any generation at their late teens and early 20s. Like, this is a pretty common feeling that you're trying to distance yourself from the older generations and define your generation as different. And people were genuinely really into this at the time. And it wasn't only Gen Z who were into this. Some millennials wanted to get the tattoo as well. People were really excited to do this.
I'm sure by now everyone has seen the TikTok about Gen Z getting a tattoo together, right? Which is a great idea, great.
So we're all in agreement that Gen Z is getting the matching tattoo, right, everybody? Because that is so fucking cool.
A lot of people have been talking about Gen Z getting a tattoo that like symbolizes Gen Z rebellion. Ooh, and I'm totally down for that.
And then, unfortunately, things took a very dark turn. And really quickly, I think it was about a day after this had been proposed, people started making the connection between the Gen Z tattoo design and a hate symbol. It's kind of hard to see exactly who found out about this because this was really popular on Twitter as well. But the first person to post about it on TikTok was user at Casey Emberly, who duetted the original video. So Casey Emberly pointed out that the Gen Z tattoo is very similar to a hate symbol called Wolf's Angel. And now the symbol is actually just an ancient German symbol that originally apparently warded off wolves. But it was appropriated by a very, very, very bad German group who will not be named. And the symbol is now used by that group to spread hate and anti-Semitism, which is absolutely unacceptable and definitely something you do not want on your body. And when looking this up, like, you can see actual tattoos of the hate symbol intended for hate. And it's so sad to see how people use art on their bodies as a way to signify them in just such a horrible, horrible way. You can look this up if you want to. I wouldn't recommend it. But Casey Emberley's warning didn't come soon enough because unfortunately some people already had gotten the Gen Z tattoo permanently inked on their bodies. It just goes to show you how fast things move online, because Casey Emberley's video came out one day after the original post. And like I said, people already had gotten this tattoo. So I was able to find a few of these. It's kind of hard to tell if all of them are real. This first one is definitely questionable. This next one, someone is literally at a tattoo studio getting this behind their ear. This is 100% real. There's no way that that's fake. And this one on the foot, I mean, I hate to say it, but I think this is probably real as well. It really sucks in hindsight, like, knowing what this is now and seeing people just so excited about, like, representing their generation that, like, completely backfired on them. So clearly this was not intentional. These people did not mean to put a hate symbol on their bodies. And the original creator definitely didn't know this when they proposed the design. And pretty soon after everyone found out what the symbol actually was, the original creator came out with an apology really soon after.
I have been writing my Z's like that since elementary school. So when I put that on there, I did not think anything of it. I did not know about the wolf angel thing. My entire point of this was to bring my generation together. It was about love and unity, okay? I understand it needs to change, and I think the equal sign is a great idea. But to be getting death threats and people texting me talking bad about my boyfriend who has nothing to do with this, I don't know how to handle hate like this. I will take everything off of the merch store. I would just really appreciate it if everybody stopped calling me names and hating, okay? I get it, I'm changing it.
So this is really just unfortunate because clearly she had no idea what this meant. She wasn't trying to spread hate. This obviously wasn't a malicious act on her end. But like she said, she's getting a bunch of hate and her boyfriend's being dragged into it. And she's getting a bunch of threats and people are really being mean to her. And she brings up a point in that video saying that this is how she draws her Z's. And a lot of people were wondering why you can draw your Z like that, but then it's wrong to get that tattooed. And this user cleared that up really well.
No. This is a different thing. I write my Z's like that too. It's just if it's being used as a symbol. If it's a letter, it's fine. It's just if it's being used as a symbol. If it is used as a hate symbol, and white supremacists will be able to identify you by looking at that symbol, then why would you want to get it? Regardless of your reasoning. You're still using what looks like a hate symbol. Just choose a different symbol if you want to tattoo that badly. I'm not going to argue about this.
And I think that user brings up a good point. Like, if there's any sort of association with any hateful anything, even just a little bit, just throw the design away. Choose a different design. You don't need to be justifying the differences between this symbol and that symbol. It is clearly too similar. Doesn't matter which way you turn it. This is just not a good thing to get tattooed. And there is one user on TikTok who got this tattoo super early on, and that is user Shayla Miles 23. And Shayla has been through a roller coaster with this tattoo. So we don't have the original video of Shayla doing the tattoo, but she got the Gen Z tattoo right on the top of her hand. And quickly people were pointing out that she should not have done this. And so she posted this video saying fixing it tomorrow with her ink and her little sewing needle that she tattoos herself with. Some of the comments say, and that's on jumping on trends within an hour, clown emojis. Cool idea, bad symbol choice. So Shayla's first attempt at making this better was putting a Gen next to the tattoo, so it says Gen Z. And people did not think that this was a good enough cover up. The top comment is, "At this point, cut your hand off." So most people are definitely not happy with this cover up. And then Shayla decided to change it, and they put an equal sign in the middle of the Z. And in the caption they said, "I didn't know." Again, people in the comments are saying that it's still not okay with these little changes. More people are saying cut the hand off. That doesn't make it any better. And then Shayla drew on some flowers to try and make it a little bit different. And it is kind of like a really big Z on her hand. Like, this is taking up a lot of space. Someone in the comments on this video said, "Please just get it professionally covered up with something completely different." Great advice. Great advice. And this is also a fresh tattoo that this person is drawing on and tattooing near. And this clearly is not a sanitary environment at all. So there's definitely risk for like infection here. And it's on the top of your hand. Like, that's prime real estate. Shayla wrote in this caption, "I didn't know anything about it before I did the tattoo. I am not anti-Semitic. It was a mistake, and my sincere, dear apologies." And then a few days later, Shayla posts this new tattoo that they did, and it's a black square covering up the tattoo. One of the top comments is, "I feel like I've been watching the different stages of grief play out. I feel like I just watched a plane crash over and over." A lot of people are saying it's probably just Sharpie. I'm not sure, it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, it definitely doesn't look like a fresh tattoo. And with their little like sewing needle, it would be really hard to do a black square. So it probably is just Sharpie. Someone said, "Y'all are just being mean. What else do you want from them? It's been a stick and poke, so obviously they don't have the resources for a tattoo appointment or removal." This person seems really young, and you're just jumping into these fun, what you think are really fun trends, and it ended up being something that was really awful. But in the end of the day, like, young people are gonna make mistakes. Clearly there was no malicious intent behind this. It definitely serves as a warning not to jump straight into things before they're developed at least a day into it. But realistically, these people didn't do anything like hideously wrong, and they're trying to make up for their mistakes, which is really all they can do, is just try and fix it and cover it up in a way that makes sense. And there was one user who was designing cover-up solutions for people who may have actually gotten this tattooed. And the user was Coco Beats. And she designed a bunch of cool little cover-ups that you could do that completely changed the look of the tattoo, which is definitely what needed to happen. And a lot of people took this as a way to say, like, Gen Z are so gullible. I can't believe they were stupid enough to do this. A lot of people were like, I can't believe they would get something tattooed on them without like deep diving into the meaning. And while I do agree with that to an extent, it is difficult to Google search a symbol. So if you Google search just the phrase Z tattoo and you disregard the results that come up about the Gen Z tattoo, you're just gonna get a bunch of tattoos of Zs. It's difficult to find the hate symbol if you don't know what you're looking for. So while, yeah, it's not great to jump into something that you don't necessarily know that there's an alternate meaning to, and many of the people could have definitely benefited from waiting a day, but I don't think calling them stupid and gullible is right. They're just jumping on something that they thought was a fun trend that they could share with their generation. It's not like Gen Z is supposed to have like a Rolodex of hate symbols in their mind and are supposed to know what every single one is. Like, I would not have known if this symbol was a hate symbol just by looking at it. So luckily, not that many people ended up actually getting this tattooed. And those who did hopefully have found ways to cover them up or get them removed. It's clear that no one did this out of hate in their heart. And it's good that some people took the time to educate us all on this horrible hate symbol that now we all know definitely to avoid. But with that, I would love to know what you all think about the Gen Z tattoo debacle. Did you hear about this when it was happening? Is this something that's totally new to you? What do you think about the symbol and what people did with it? Let me know in the comments down below. I wanted to say thank you once again to Skillshare for sponsoring today's episode. Like I said, the first 1,000 people to click the link in my description box down below will get 1 month free trial to Skillshare Premium. So definitely check them out if you would like. But if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If